Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage, and welcome back to Community Fridays. This week we have a deck posted from Joker in the Base Damage Discord from the Fujimi Fantasia Bunko set, obviously incorporating some of the newer cards from the new set that they got. Even though I didn't cover this particular new set on the channel, I did feel it warranted to go over and show off some of the new stuff. And in the Discord, Joker did make a note for this, obviously pertaining to the end combo. Some people were like, hey, this isn't that good. But he said, folks can fight me on this, but Haruna is still the best finisher in my opinion. So we will talk about her in a moment here, but do feel free to roast him or, try to dispute it in the comment section if you want to, state your opinion on what you feel the best finisher from Fantasia Bunko is. By all means, feel free to comment down below. But in addition to that, I guess to try to reiterate his point, he put, the title is Wind is Still a Good Trigger deck. And maybe that's going to be more true when Beyblade X comes out, because spin, haha, anyway. All right, so let's jump right into it. Let's see. Now, unlike the Overlord deck that I posted last week, I don't remember all the individual cards from the individual sets. So I'm not going to be able to point out what's new and what isn't, and I'm very sorry on that one. Unless obviously I know Haruna is a much older card, and some of the other, I do notice some other cards in here that are older, but I don't remember every single one of them, so, alright. Let's start with Founders Bloodline Alice. I'm just going to say Alice because I'm not certain how to say her full name, and that's just me not wanting to butcher it, because she's very lovely, and I would not want to insult her. So, 3295. When this card attacks, choose one of your Fantasia Bunko or Star Spirit characters. I'm assuming that trait is unique to all of her cards from her particular series. Give that character 1500 power till end of turn. Up to one time per turn during the turn this card was placed on stage from hand. When damage dealt by this card is canceled, put the top card of your deck into your waiting room and deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the level of that card plus 1. For people who do not know, this is what is commonly referred to as a Musashi burn effect. Referencing the level 3 Musashi from Kantai Collection from many, many moons ago. But that is what the burn effect is affectionately referred to in the community as. Forgetter Annette is a 3295. If your waiting room has 2 or less climaxes, this gets -1 level while in your hand. Once again, we need to just do away with this. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, put one of your other Fantasia Bunko or spy characters from your stage into the waiting room. We get to sack something. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock, which is kind of interesting. I kind of like that. And when your opponent uses an act ability, when your opponent, not you, your opponent, uses an act ability, which I'll explain a funny interaction for that in a second here. This gets X power until end of turn. X is equal to the number of Fantasia Bunko or spy characters you have times 500. So if you have a full field when this goes off, she could get plus 2500 power. Now, what would be really funny is if your opponent used a backup, because backups are considered as acts. So if your opponent was like, oh, well, you swing with the, obviously, like, if they use it on any of your attacks, she would get a buff. But it'd be really funny if you're like, cool, swing with the Annette, and they're just like, okay, cool, I'm just going to use the backup against this one, and you're like, okay, cool, you gained a buff, and I gained a buff, and now I'm still bigger than you, type deal. It's just really funny if that goes off that way. I doubt it, but, we can only dream. If you ever pull that off on somebody, please let me know. I think that'd be hilarious. Aptitude of an S-rank idol Kurumi, 3-10,500. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose one of the following effects and perform it. It looks like we have 3 different effects. The first one is look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 Fantasia Bunko or date characters from among them. Reveal them to your opponent, put them in your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. So you get to basically just add some cards to hand. Very nice. You may choose one of your opponent's characters, return it to their hand. So spot removal, always good. And choose, the last optional effect is choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character gets negative 2,000 power until end of turn. Which at that point, I can understand, like, oh, hey, let me bounce this thing because it's annoying, versus I don't want to give you back this one particular character. I'd rather just make it weak so I can kill it, type deal. That's understandable, and very nice to have the options there. Now, the Haruna in question that Joker mentioned is Tsundere Magical Arms Girl Haruna from the Kore wa Zombie Desuka series, which is just one of my favorite shows of all time. 3-10K. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can put 1 card from your hand into waiting room. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. More stock healing, always nice. When this card attacks, if Absurd Daily Life, which is the 1k1 spin trigger, is in your climax area, you can pay 3. If you do, burn 4, which is just hilarious to me because this is one of the cheapest double rares I've ever seen. Just very, very, in terms of cost of the actual double rare, as of the last time I looked at it, it was maybe a quarter, but maybe that's changed since then. I don't know. But yeah, just really funny. And so this is what Joker says is the best finisher for Bunko. So, like I said, feel free to roast or, maybe agree with him. Just saying. Really funny card. Moving on to one copy of Mischievousness Annette. Very cute, though, with a little bouquet and everything. 2,500 backup. When you use this card's backup, you can pitch 2 cards from hand. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters with a level higher than their level and put it at the bottom of their stock. If you do, put the top card of your opponent's stock into their waiting room. Shoving something off field into stock is just really crazy. Like, I really like that. So, all right. So then we have My Rival Alice is a 105k. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you can discard 1 card. If you do, choose 1 trait of a character in your opponent's stage. All of your opponent's characters lose all of that trait till end of turn, which is just a really, really funny card in general. And obviously there are other sets that have similar effects. This is just one of the funniest ones to just be like, cool, you need a particular trait, you need like all this other, you could really screw up your opponent with this. Like, it's just really, really funny, and I like that. So the level 1 climax combo of the deck, Flower Garden Lily, is a 104k. She gets 500 power for each of your other Fantasia, Bunko, or Spy characters. When Young Lady in a Mission is placed in your climax area, which is new art, very cutesy, is the choice trigger. So doing math, if you have a full field, she's a 6k. With the choice trigger, she'll be a 7k. Placed on stage from hand if this is in your center stage. And you have 3 or more other Fantasia, Bunko, or Spy characters, meaning you have to at least have 4 characters on field. Choose one of the following effects and perform it. Either choose 1 character in your opponent's center stage, and that character gets negative 3,000 power till end of turn. We're going to come back to this. Or look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 level 1 or higher card amongst them. You could grab events with this if you wanted. And add that card to hand, send the rest to waiting room. So I don't mind the negative 3k power. I can understand, like I said, you don't want to like send stuff back to your opponent's hand if you can help it, unless it's a really annoying card. But I don't know, just negative 3k feels weird because you can only use it on the opponent's center stage. Now that means you're probably winning board. Since we did the math, she gets up to 7k. If you reduce your opponent's character across from her by 3k, it's as if she's sitting, this Lily in particular, it's as if she's sitting at 10k. Kind of, because you're able to reduce it by so much. So even if your opponent has like a 9k or a 9.5 across from her, she can contend with it and win on board. Now, I personally think you should be able to apply this to any character on your opponent's stage, because I think sniping back row stuff with this is even funnier. That's just me. That's whatever. I like the idea of sniping your opponent's back row with cards like this. It's just really cool. But obviously the plussing engine is still very good. One of the most cursed images I've ever seen in my entire life. Creepy in a cute way, Ayumu. No, he's not. 103k. Act ability of pay 1, put this into your waiting room, choose up to 1 character in your hand with a level equal to or lower than your level, and put it on stage position that this card was on. So being able to basically play your level 3s at a cheaper cost, very nice. 3 copies of Trip Before Marriage, Nobuna, 102k. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, pitch a climax. If you do, grab back a climax from waiting room. So this is your climax swapper of the set. When this becomes reversed, if the battle opponent is cost 0 or lower, you may put that character into your opponent's stock. And if you do, put the bottom card of your opponent's stock into their waiting room. So very good to have a cost 0 reverser. But also your climax swapper you definitely need, because you don't have any way of getting it to hand otherwise, because it's 4 choice, 4 spin. Just saying. 1 copy of Heart Magic Yuna. Maharo, I think it's, no, not Maharo-matic. What was, I'm trying to remember what this anime was, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I went to say Maharo-matic, and that's the one with the maid, and I'm like, wait, that's wrong. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, put the top, When this card is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, search your deck for a Fantasia, Bunko, or Magic character added to your hand. Very simple drop searcher. Very nice. 2 copies of Many Different Festivals Euclidwood Hellscythe. Very, very cute. It's one of my favorite characters. 0025. When this is placed into your waiting room from this stage, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. If you do, choose 1 yellow climax from amongst them, add it to your hand. If you put a card into your hand this way, you have to discard 1 card. So being able to try to dig for your climaxes, once again, even though you do have the climax swapper, it's very good to be able to try to dig for them. So then 1 copy of Nation Unified by Force Nobuna, 0015. During your turn, she gets an extra 1,000. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 3. If you do, put all of your opponent's stock into their waiting room, and your opponent puts the same number of cards from the top of his or her deck into their stock. Yes, we have stock swap on a level 0. You don't see this too terribly often. I can immediately think of like the Milim level 0 from Slime that does it. More often than not, your stock swaps are going to be like on level 3s or, silly little events called Buns for Luck. So very, very good to have and a very powerful tech piece for this deck. So 2 copies of Frail Exorcist Hanbei is a 001k. During your turn, all of your other characters get 500 power. When your climax is placed on your climax area, you can put the top card of your deck into clock. If you do, look at the 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 level 1 or higher card from amongst them, add it in hand, put the rest into your waiting room. Trying to get a little bit more card advantage to hand. Peaceful Days Forever, Kaname and Teletha. You don't see this that often, and I'm going to obviously shout out Quince for this, but that's whatever. 001k, you get +1 to the limit of the number of cards in your hand is the very first continuous effect. And if your waiting room has 4 or more events, you can play events from your hand without fulfilling color requirement. Now, that being said, Joker is only running 4 copies of the one particular event right here, so it's not like it's going to really come into play for this particular deck, but that's whatever. And as I said, shouting out Quince because I really don't see a lot of the +1 or whatever to the limit of your hand size. So instead of 7 at end of turn with this on field, you have a max hand size of 8. And Quince uses this with the Eatski decks to get like 9 hand size, and you just constantly have all sorts of options. It's just a really fun mechanic that I personally like. Lastly, obviously the Brainstorm effect. Pay 1, rest this, mill 4 for each climax, salvage back 1 character from your waiting room. 4 copies of Otaku Pudding on Air's Eriri from the, from Saikano. 0025. All of your other characters get the following ability that they cannot side attack. When this card is placed on stage from hand, choose 1 of your characters, and that character gets the following ability till end of turn. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, choose 1 of your other characters, rest it, and move it to an open position of your backstage. This is funny because you can give this to your level 1 and higher characters and just make it so, all of a sudden my level 1, oh my goodness, I can't think of her name. Level 1 Lily is all of a sudden also a a clean cut on top of all of the other climax combo shenanigans. It's just really funny, and honestly being able to do that with like with one of these and just be able to go, cool, I'm going to move it to the backstage so I can possibly reuse it again the next turn is just really funny, amongst all the other things you could do. But giving something clean cut's kind of funny, and I like it. 4 copies of Absolute God, Kurimu, 002k. When this is placed on stage from hand, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top of your deck or into your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, pay 1, put the top card of your deck into clock. If you do, choose a Fantasia Bunko or Student Council character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So it's a Ricky cost, but it salvages back from the waiting room. So it's just really funny there, but very nice. And I think it's your only Ricky in the entire set. Oh, no, you do have more. Oh, I just noticed this. Okay, so you do have multiple events. For some reason, I thought this was a level 0. I don't know why. So forgive me, Joker, I misread. So you do have 6 events in the deck, so that could be applicable. Cat Nun Costume 3-0, which the cost is discard 2 cards. If you do, deal 4 damage to your opponent. I don't know, man. Harden is cool, but I think this is the better finisher, right? No, I'm messing. But that's really cool. So no, I didn't even notice this was also an event. The one event that I did notice, though, Believing in the Same Dream, a 1-0 red event. Put the top 2 cards of your deck in waiting room, choose a level X or lower Fantasia, Bunko, or Demon character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. X equals to the total level of the cards put into your waiting room by this effect. So, Being able to utilize both of those, you can probably get back maybe your level 1s or whatever other advantage engines that you need, or other neat little tech pieces to screw over your opponent, stuff like that. So obviously, the climax is 4 copies of Young Lady on a Mission, the 1K1 choice trigger, and 4 copies of Absurd Daily Life, the 1K1 win trigger or spin, whichever you prefer to say. Once again, let's Beyblade. Yeah, that is going to be it for us today. Thank you very much to Joker for sharing this in the Base Damage Discord. I do greatly appreciate it. If you want to share your own deck profiles and stuff like that in the Base Damage Discord and possibly see it here on a Community Fridays video, it will be greatly appreciative. Feel free to join the Discord. There is a link in the description, and there are 2 channels in the Discord. There is a Decklist Submissions channel, and there is a Community Fridays channel as well. Feel free to post it in either, as long as you post a deck log link, and I'm more than willing to take a look at it, and if I like it, I'll happily post it up here as a video. That is going to be it for us today. Thank you all very much once again. Stay safe, and as always, remember to stay based.